It's alive! I told you we'd be back. When I say it's, you say alive. It's... Oh, that's right. The plague. But the plague shan't prevent the Pittsburgh Film Center from showing you their It's Alive film series, wherein they explore the horror films of the Universal Golden Years. 'Tis I, Bloody Uncle Joe, here again to hold your hand as we walk into the dark of yesteryear, the dark of Hollyweird, California. Last time we discussed Bela Lugosi and Dracula, which was a huge success for the studio. So Carl Laemmle set about finding the next horror novel that he could exploit and turn into a film, preferably a classic. He found it in Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, or A Modern-Day Prometheus. Published in 1818, the novel is the result of a competition to see who could come up with the best horror story between herself, Percy Shelley, Lord Byron, and John Polidori. This came after a trip across Europe wherein they stayed only 11 miles from Castle Frankenstein. Yes, there is an actual real-life Castle Frankenstein. The story involved the reanimation of a corpse cobbled together by cadaver parts. Like Dracula, it was made into several successful plays. The 1931 version of the film was not the first film adaptation to be done. Thomas Edison produced a film of Frankenstein in 1910, starring Charles Ogle as the monster. Laemmle chose director Robert Florey and Bela Lugosi as director and the monster, respectively. Both Florey and Lugosi failed to galvanize Laemmle, and they were replaced with British director James Whale and a British Indian actor named William Henry Pratt, otherwise known as Boris Karloff, to play the monster. Whale and Karloff brought a sympathy, a tragic pathos to the character and to the story. Whale also hired British actor Colin Clive to play Dr. Henry Frankenstein to bring more humanity to the story. Clive suffered from intense alcoholism and was sometimes an explosive element on set, eventually dying at the age of 37. As far as acting goes, keep your eye on Dwight Fry as Fritz. Once again, just like in Dracula, I believe he steals every scene that he's in. The iconic look of the monster was brought to life by one-time baseball player, makeup technician, and professional curmudgeon Jack Pierce. The result was shocking, but a nightmare for Karloff. The makeup process lasted 4 hours and included a painful buildup on Karloff's head, mortician's wax on his eyelids, pale green makeup across his body, braces on his legs to give him a stiff gait, heavy, extended boots, and a metal brace that went up his back to ensure that his back was straight. As a result of all these things, Karloff wound up with back problems for the rest of his life, resulting in 3 operations on his back. After one particularly grueling 25-hour shoot day, Karloff filed a complaint to the Academy of Motion Pictures and Sciences. This was unheard of in that day. Actors did not have the power that they do now. This was partly changed because of Karloff and his experiences on Frankenstein, when he became one of the founding fathers of the Screen Actors Guild. The influence of German Expressionism is even more prevalent in Frankenstein than in Dracula, especially when it comes to the sets. Speaking of sets, all the electrical equipment that you see in the laboratory were created by a real-life mad scientist named Kenneth Strickfaden, who was able to procure a Tesla coil actually built by Nikola Tesla. What you see in the lab in this film is no Hollywood flim-flam, no jugglery. The film borrowed some showmanship from vaudeville, providing a warning at the beginning and billing Karloff as a question mark. It paid off. 9 months after the success of Dracula, Frankenstein also became a monstrous hit. So sit back in the comfort of your own home and be entertained by this tale of necromancy, hubris, existential angst, and the horror of abandonment. If you would like to learn more, check out the book, The Lady and Her Monsters, by Roseanne Montillo. It will take you into the world of Galvanism, grave robbing, and occultism that inspired Mary Shelley to write the book in the first place. Also, give a listen to Karina Longworth's excellent podcast, You Must Remember This, where an entire season is dedicated to Bella and Boris. Click the link on your datascope. Go forward into Frankenstein's laboratory. And until next time, this is Bloody Uncle Joe reminding you to stay safe, stay alive, and stay scary.